Hi friends, it's Brittany at Ink and Papyrus. Today we are making my favorite embellishment, and that is a specimen card. We're doing things a little bit differently today. These are going to be the easiest specimen cards you ever make because, get this, we are not going to be doing any measuring today. And I contend that these are still some of my favorite specimen cards that I've ever made. Absolutely love, love, love. So let's get to it. So traditionally when I was making specimen cards, and I still contend if you want a very precise square frame, maybe this is the way to go. But essentially I would make a mark, maybe let's say 1/2 inch from this side, 1/2 inch from this side, 1/2 inch from here, 1/2 inch from here. Then I would connect the dots. Okay, and then I would put this on my craft mat and cut out the frame that I just made with my utility knife, and then I would do the exact same thing. I would measure a 1/2 inch from the side here, make a mark, 1/2 inch from the side, 1/2 inch from this side, 1/2 inch from this side, connect the dots, cut it out with the utility knife. There's still some roll for that, but I feel like I have found definitely some better ways, less painstakingly so, and I feel like they still came out fabulous. So the two techniques we're going to be talking about today is basically folding the card on itself and cutting it freehand, tracing it, and then cutting that out for the other card. Obviously you want the same cutout for both cards so you can put them together. And then the other technique we're going to be talking about is just punching out your frame. So here I've used a paper punch. When you use 2 punches, you can actually create 2 frames in one card. I think I love that look. This was also done with a paper punch. Okay, this was done folding the card in on itself. As you can see, to get around having that little crease there, if that bothers you, I've actually designed the frame with some washi tape, so nobody will ever know that this was ever folded over. I have a little bit of a crease here. That doesn't bother me. I think it's very whimsical and really pretty. If you're wondering where I got these whimsical little designs from, I will link the watercolor whimsical doodles. I basically just painted some splotches of watercolor, the basic shapes, and they look very simple on the paper. Once they dry, you come back in with a pen or a charcoal pencil and do some doodling, and I'm telling you, they're magical. And actually, I wanted to decorate some of the frames that we make today with these. I absolutely love these watercolor doodles. You can use words, bees, butterflies, flowers. They are all so much fun to make. So yes, I will put that link in the description box if you didn't see that. That is also another one of my absolute favorite projects. I think I'm gonna make a bouquet of these and put them on a cover. I don't know, but I'm loving these so much, these doodles. Yeah. I love it. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm a little distractible today. Okay, so let's start with the paper punch technique first. I think this is the crispest way to get a specimen card without measuring. I'm going to use my circle punch here. We can come in from the side, from above, from the bottom. Let's do the bottom. Make sure your piece of paper are of the same size. Find where's about middle. You want to, usually I'll just punch one at a time because it is a thicker cardstock. Sometimes it'll make your punch angry. So I find what looks to be about middle, punch it out. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is put this just right behind the paper I've already punched. And I open the plastic part so I can see. And then I line up exactly where I can see the first paper punch out. All right. And there we go. Now all of a sudden we have the very beginnings of a specimen card. We can decorate this however we would like. And let's cut out another one quick. And then we can do a little bit of decorating. So let me see, I have this. This is going to be a little bit big. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be a little big. About this. I can try it. Okay, we don't have much frame at the bottom. I don't know that I like the way that looks. It doesn't, it's obviously not very even. I'll punch. I'm not digging that. Probably do something else with that one, and I don't think I'll make this one a specimen card. See if you don't get it right on and you overlap and make your punches cut through two thick pieces of paper at once, they tend to hate you for it. Alright, if this happens to you, you can just come on in here, take your scissors, and just finish the punching job, or get your, I don't have a craft mat, but just get your X-Acto knife. Okay. Just finish the job, don't tear it or else your frame's gonna be tattered. Okay, well, this is not my favorite. There's obviously too much up top and not enough at the bottom. What we could do is we could cut some of this off to make the frame even. We could go like this, but this isn't enough frame for me. That's not the look I'm going for. I want a large enough frame that I can easily decorate around the sides. And I'm not going to be able to do anything with that. So I'll use that for a different project. I don't want that one. Let's go ahead and get, I have a Post-it stamp paper punch. I think this will look really cool. So let's see, we could do, so we could either do 2 at the bottom, 2 up top, or watch this. We could make a line down the middle. That's not quite halfway. Let's see. Okay. Got that. And we could go just like this. Okay, well, I'm happy with that. All right, and then we will take a piece of paper of the exact same size. Just gonna pin this, and then what we can do is find exactly where those divots are. Line them up. I'm gonna get the paper clip out of the way. I'll line them up exactly. Okay, so for example, I was running into this problem earlier. I had lined it up, but it was still, there's still like sections where it was trying to, like, even if it looks like it's totally lined up, it still has to punch through part of the other paper. So it is still having to kind of punch through two papers. So if that happens to you, what you can do is line it up and squeeze it, and don't force it if it's struggling. What we'll do is take our paper clip off, take our paper that's not punched through, and we're gonna finish it off. Now the lines are, we can see enough of the paper punch that we can easily line it back up and finish the job without killing our paper punch. You see that? And it still looks very precise and clean, as long as you did a good job of lining them up, which is not hard to do. There we go. Okay, now look. And now we have this. Oh, I've never made one like top and bottom before. That's gonna look really, really cool. Okay, so we have a circle punch out. We have this. Now I wanna show you guys how easy it can be to cut something by hand. And don't throw these pieces away. This would make the cutest altered paper clip. Look at this. Decorate the front and the back. And then look. And glue this together. Now you have an altered paper clip. You could use this for anything else. I was using these obviously as postage stamps. The punch outs that I had that were left over. So I was just kind of doing some stamping on them, putting some images on them. You see there? Just don't throw that away. Can make something really cute out of that. Okay, so I'm gonna put these aside. So let's freehand something. I'm gonna show you how easy that is. Okay, I would definitely recommend keeping it very simple. You don't want something too complicated. It'll be too hard to cut out and too hard to trace over it and replicate it. Remember, you want this to be exact, because if not, your specimen card is gonna look like this. Okay, you're gonna clearly be able to see that they don't match up. And I don't know, that bothers me. I don't like the way that looks. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna fold this over. Okay. Now, we're gonna do a heart, okay? Because it's gonna be very easy. All right, where did I put my scissors here? Okay. So we have this folded over. Just gonna cut out a heart. Oh no, I like that better. The other one I think looked like a butt. It just it didn't have a point at the bottom. Okay, so what we're gonna do is trace. We could fold these back over. I don't know. I think the easiest thing to do is just to trace this with a pencil. Make sure you're lined up exactly. I have sort of creased the other card. That'll make it easier for me. I bet you that'll be better. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, now we have 3 specimen cards that we can decorate. Of course, you can do the same exact thing with a by cutting out a square shaped. We can make this really easy. Let's do that. Or we could do a triangle. Something that is simple to cut out that doesn't require a whole lot of detail is going to work best. Yeah, I don't ever want to measure another specimen card again. Look, that is pretty darn good, right? You can get around. I know there's some creasing there. Lay this flat. It's really not a big deal unless you're really dead set against. I think this is the best method if you want to cover. So for example, this frame, I actually used a punch out, but I really liked this this magazine image. This came from a seed catalog. I knew I wanted to use these strawberries. So if you want to cover your frame with something entirely, like this crease is not going to make one bit of difference. Same if you want to cover it with washi tape or some other kind of cardstock, something like that. So I hope you know that was actually the most tedious task of this entire project. By the way, if you want some ideas for little projects, mini projects you can do with these cutouts, look at these watercolor booklets I made. So easy. So look. So basically I just folded, I had a bunch of these cutouts. So I just went over the piece of paper with a little bit of watercolor and cut down a couple of pieces of paper that were the same size and kind of theme, and plopped down this. I just stamped the front. I cut out a piece of fabric to put over the yellow. This is actually a piece of the DIY washi that we made that I have piled up in my pieces of ephemera I haven't done anything with yet that have to go away where they're supposed to be. I actually can also link that video above and in the description box. I loved making this washi, but honestly most of the time I like cutting it up and just taking different pieces and yeah, having it at the ready, plopping it down. So you could do the same exact thing with these. Cut down little pieces that fit into this, and then once you have your pieces, just go ahead and staple right along the pieces, or of course you could run it through the sewing machine just like this. And now I have these cute little booklets, and if you want to get real detailed with it, you could punch a really little hole here, either with your hole punch or like your owl there, and then punch a hole here, and then take embroidery floss or something, some cording, and just wrap it up and create a little closure. Maybe put a bead on the end of the cording and to actually hold the closure in place. So this is me getting very distracted again, but I love making projects with scraps. I think that's the best way to clean off a desk. That's the only way I know how to clean off my desk, is creating more scraps and more mayhem. So anyways, what was this video about again? Oh yes, specimen cards. Okay, so since this is creased, I think I want to actually decorate this one with washi tape. You don't have to. I have this really pretty washi tape sitting right in front of me, and why the heck not? It doesn't have to all be the same washi tape. I think it might be a little much. This is really busy, so if we use this washi on the entire frame, I'm worried that we won't really necessarily get to decorate the rest of it. So I think for this one, I'm just gonna put washi maybe up top and on the bottom, and we're gonna leave some white space to decorate. And this is that fancy washi that you peel away. Sometimes it works beautifully and sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth. Just being honest. Make sure we're good and covered. Okay. So this theoretically should be the right size. I don't know if it's the right size for here. If it's not, we could use it on the other frame. Yeah, it works. It's a little bit of white space, but that's totally fine. Okay. Alrighty. So we have part of our one frame done. You don't have to have the same thing on the front and the back. For this one, I think I'm probably gonna want the same washi on the front and the back of the frame. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take care of the back while we're at it. Is that right? Yeah. All right. I love making specimen cards. It's the whole measuring thing that just really, I don't know. I feel like, you know, I'm just like, if I didn't have to measure all this and cut all this out by hand with a knife, I would want to make them more often. So I tend to do whatever I can to try and find a way to cheap out and simplify the process a little bit, because for me, I know some people really find a lot of joy in precision, and not that there's anything wrong doing things the right way, but if there's an easier, simpler way I can do something, especially if it's something I don't enjoy doing, I'm gonna do it. And I feel like that's what life is, right? Finding hacks to make life simpler and easier. Some people think it's cheating, but I think it's just working smarter. Like I said, this probably isn't gonna replace, I don't know, the frame isn't perfect. If you want a top-notch, perfect specimen card with the most precise frame, you probably still want to measure, but for me, honestly, I can't really tell the difference. And like I said, if the crease bothers you, that's fine. Punch your frame out, you know? There's always a way around it. Always a way around it. Alright, you know what's really bothering me? This little area of space where the washi was clearly cut. This peel washi tape is nice. I find that, you know, if it's not a peel and stick, that my washi tape is always getting glue, because it never stays. It's not washi tape in my mind. It's not a permanent fixture. If you want it to be permanent, you have to put glue on it. I do enjoy this peel and stick because I know it's not going anywhere. That's pretty cool. I'm adding steps. This is taking needlessly long because I botched the washi tape at the bottom. I'm sure you can see there's obviously a gap there. There we go. I'm good with that. Okay, so we have our frame. Let's cut down little pieces here. I'm thinking these watercolor doodles in front of me, I have some blue ones. They are absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure, I think they might be too big for the frame though. Too big to put inside the frame and too big for the outside of the frame as well. We'll take a look. In terms of what we're going to put in here, flowers. I even made a sewing, the last time I made specimen cards with you guys, I think I even used the sewing thread and put some buttons. That was adorable. I absolutely love that. You could put paper, you can put die cuts, look amazing, punch outs. Here I used some magazine images from a seed catalog. I love this. So yeah, let your imagination run wild. Obviously you want it to either be transparent or to be pretty, well, I guess it doesn't have to be uniform on the front and the back. Typically I like to have something that is either transparent or the same on the front and the back. So call me crazy, but I think this actually looks really cool. What if we taped or glued these stamps that we punched out together and then decorated the front and the back? I think this could look actually really, really cool. We just have to figure out how to decorate them. Next order of business, get out your plastic packaging. Whatever you have, just let it sink to the bottom. Okay, you don't have to use up all of your packaging. We're gonna cut this down. We should be able to make a couple of cards with the one thing. You just want to make sure that you leave enough room on each side. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. We want to make sure that our butterfly is midway, okay? We want to make sure we allow enough packaging so that when we go over this and sew over this, we are able to secure it, okay? If you only have a wee little bit of packaging hanging over here and you go to sew your card here, your packaging isn't going to be secure. It's going to wrinkle, it's going to curl up, and you're going to be really, really, really sad and wonder what you did wrong. So we're going to move our butterfly over so that it's still centered. Okay. And we want to try this out. This is one of those things that we measure twice and cut once, if you know what I mean. It's a longer frame than I thought it would be. Okay. No, it's kind of a pain, but it's worth making sure it's right. Okay, same thing here. We're gonna need our butterfly in higher up. If we put our butterfly, just let it sit here, then it's gonna get covered up, because if you move the plastic wrap far enough down that you can sew this way, your butterfly is gonna be all the way down here. So what we're gonna do, this is probably the easiest way to do this. Let's cut our packaging so we know exactly how wide it needs to be and how tall it needs to be. We're going to give ourselves plenty of room. Okay. All right. I actually think, regardless of whether or not you intended to sew this, I think using double-sided tape would actually be really a good idea, at least below the butterfly, because otherwise it's gonna move around just when you try and take this to the sewing machine. I'm gonna open this up. And I'm gonna put some adhesive. I'm gonna make sure it's still where we want it. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. I'm gonna put some adhesive below the butterfly. Or else he's gonna sink down. A little bit more. Okay. That should be good. Make sure he's still where we want him. All right. Yeah, I would recommend doing that if you have something that normally most things, depending on the size of the frame, can kind of just sit at the bottom. If you have a wide frame and your piece can't rest on the bottom, even if you sew around, it's probably gonna fall down. So I don't know. I think this is the easiest way to deal with this. We'll just put this here and a little bit up top. This is a great way to just keep your thing from moving. I know you're probably like, I thought this was a no fuss specimen card. There are no such things. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying to you. This is just a lesser fuss specimen card. Okay, you know what? I've had about enough of this one. I'm ready to move on to decorating the other ones. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put down this adhesive. We'll sew some of our other ones. We're gonna call this one a day. Nothing against you, but we're running a little short on time because we've been fussing with this butterfly. And this is the beauty of this. And to be extra secure, we can still put some glue on the very outer edges of the frame. We just don't like it when our glue seeps into our plastic frame and makes it all soggy. That is very, very sad. So this adds some extra security without gumming up our specimen frame inside. Yeah? Okay. I keep looking. Okay. This is front. Okay, I'm gonna get our butterfly right where we want them. And straight. Okay, press that down. And put it down, hopefully not have to move it too much. Yep. Okay. This was worth the fuss. I absolutely love this. This is one of my absolute favorites. We could even bedazzle this out a little bit more if we wanted to. We could jazz it up with some stickles, put some bling on top, which I think I might come in and do a little bit later. There are, I don't know, we could leave it just as is, and I really, really like it, but there's some other things I'm thinking about doing with this. So let's move on. I'm gonna set this aside. What about this heart? This is really, really cute. Let's figure out what we want to do. I have this pretty pink flower I think would go perfectly in this heart. So now we just have to decide what we want to do with this cute little frame. All right, so I have a bunch of papers hanging around. I have some die cuts. Ooh, that might look pretty. Maybe too many shapes. I don't know. Yeah, I got my big shot, my Sizzix machine to work. That was painful if you didn't see the video. Yeah, I kind of so the dies always worked. The problem was the embossing folders. Even the ones that were Sizzix did not fit. Excuse me, I have no idea why. You would think if when you buy a machine that it's gonna fit and it's gonna work, and it didn't. Let me see. Yeah, they just wouldn't fit in the machine. At least in the sandwich stuff that it came with. It was a whole to-do. I'm at a loss for words. This might be cute. We just cut off the folio part. What if we do that? Okay, we'll just cut, obviously getting the heart frame part out might be a pain. Let's see what we can do with this. Okay. Now, do that. Okay. And we'll make a little, well, we'll just cut this top off. We don't have to cover the frames if we don't want to. I was showing you guys the washi tape frame I made. Absolutely love it. let's see. Or not washi tape, I mean the watercolor frame that I painted on. I absolutely love it. So you don't always have to completely cover the frame. You know, we could leave this white and do some stamping on it, stenciling. That might make for a really simple one. Maybe we'll do that with this one. Okay, so all we're doing here, I think this is the easiest way to quickly cover the frame in its entirety. Okay. Doo-doo-doo. So as you saw, I just put this in my sewing machine. I had clipped this to make sure nothing moved and it all stayed together where I wanted it, and passed it through the sewing machine and went on the outside. The plastic wrap that I used in here was really long, so I think I was able to adequately secure everything. If your plastic wrap is short, you may want to go along, you know, closer to the inner diameter of the frame. And actually something like this where you're looking at a shape, it may be cool just to go ahead, sew around the actual frame itself and then glue this shut if you don't want two different sewing lines. So I'd really like to do one more with you guys, but I would like to keep it really simple and just show you how easy these can be. So why don't we grab, I have my watercolors here, and I think it'd be really cool just to splash some color on here and maybe do some stamping. If it's still wet, you know, we may get like a little bit of a blurred stamp, but that's okay. I think I want to just go for like whimsical for this one. I'm really loving this pink, as you can see. Okay, so let's just get some color on here. Not sure what we're doing with this yet, that's okay. Just some color. And we can figure out what we're doing with it later. You know? Why don't we blend some colors in? I love doing this with watercolor. Let's just I should have started lighter and then blended in some dark. I love this copper. Why don't we pick another color to accentuate the inner frame? Yeah. Okay. And let's go ahead. Let's get some more pink in there. Like a different color, different shade of pink. Oh yeah. I should definitely have something under this, but I don't. I'm living dangerously today, so it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. We can mop up the excess with this. And this can be the beginning of a new specimen card. No worries. All right. I like that. Okay. So let's figure out what we want to put in the specimen card, and then I think we can worry about doing some more decorating and stuff later. So I was looking at my desk here. I have this little tin of threads I've been saving for a future project. And you know what? What if we make a sewing themed specimen card? I have some really pretty buttons in here. I have this heart button. It's really, really cute. Why don't we make a specimen card out of this, our button, and some thread? So I'm just gonna get my plastic wrap, keeping it really simple. Of course, if this is a sewing theme card, of course we have to sew. We have to sew the outside. That's like a non-negotiable. So we're just gonna put our thread here. Okay, make sure we have plenty of room for our button. Our lovely little button here. Oh my gosh, look how darling. Just want to make sure it's not, I'm going to take out some of these so it's not so overpowering. I want that button to stand out. Oh my gosh, how darling. So cute. Okay, so obviously this isn't very wide. I want to give it a little bit of room there so we have something to grab onto when we go to sew this. Okay. How darling. Move this over a little bit. I just want to show you like how quickly these come together. I mean, you can make it as detailed as you would like, spend as much time on it as you'd like, but you can put together some really cute specimen cards really quickly. These are really easy to mass make, especially when you're not painstakingly measuring frames. Alright, so as you can see, I sent this through the sewing machine. I ended up having to sew the inside around the actual inner frame itself, just because the button and the threads were kind of loose. I would definitely recommend doing that if you have something that's gonna jiggle around in the plastic. It keeps it more secure. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I love making these specimen cards, and any quick, fast, easy way to do that I am all about. I think they're so much more enjoyable to make when you're not actually having to measure out the frame and cut it out with the utility knife. I think it takes forever, and I still think that these frames came out pretty even and crisp and sharp, and I really love the results. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you make some of your own. If you have any experience with other ways to make specimen cards without a whole lot of fuss, without measuring, please drop me a comment in below and just let me know your method for doing so. But I could not be more thrilled with how these came out. So happy crafting. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you the next time.